Wait, am I saying that this is better than the Polybrute? No. But also yes, hi, welcome to the Midlife Synthesist. Let's get started. I want to talk to you about a synth that I think is not only one of the very best machines to come out in the last 10 years, it's also being sold for basically peanuts. This is the Arturia MicroFreak, and today I want to give you 5 reasons why after 2 years of using it, it's still one of the smartest purchases you can make with your synth money. If you're already a subscriber, welcome back, and I want to thank you so much for joining me again today. If this is your first time here, I hope you make yourself at home. I know I talk a lot about Arturia products, but that's just because where I live, they're pretty well represented. So this video isn't sponsored. If I sound giddy, it's just because I'm talking about a synth that I've been using for quite a while and is still easily one of my favorites. Okay, so if you have no idea what the Arturia MicroFreak is, here's an extremely quick recap. It's a hybrid synth with digital voices and an analog multi-mode filter. It hosts an ever-expanding roster of oscillator types, or synth engines, made from different manufacturers, including the original 7 mutable instrument oscillators, 3 noise engineering oscillators, and Arturia's own 8 oscillator modes. It's a 4-voice paraphonic synth, though the paraphonic label is mostly because the voices all share the filter and the LFO. However, each voice has its own envelope. It originally had 256 preset slots, which has been bumped up to 384, and was first shipped with only 160 factory presets, which are now 320. It has a mod matrix that reminds you a lot of a pocket version of a Matrix or Polybrute, and has a touch capacitive keyboard that you will either love or hate to death. It has a very interesting take on sequencers and arpeggiators, and also provides you 4 lanes of motion sequencing to boot. So that's pretty much the MicroFreak on paper, but underneath the spec sheet, what's really so great about it? Let me tell you. Number 1 is the price. There's really no 2 ways about it. If there was ever an underpriced synth, this is it. I can't really think of any other hardware synth on the market right now that offers you so much versatility in sound design, quality, and performance control in this price bracket. If you go even further and look for it in the used market, you're bound to find it even cheaper, and by then it's really a no-brainer. If the MicroFreak was a car, it would be the Ford Model T. It's a great little synth that most synth enthusiasts will be able to afford, and hell, you won't even have to lie to your spouse about how much you actually paid for it. Yeah! Number 2, brilliant interface. Small hardware synths are not something new. However, where these things usually struggle is finding the right balance between compactness and an enjoyable user interface. Either they become oversimplified and miss essential features, or they have way too many secondary functions and button combos and become overly complicated. The MicroFreak nails the interface to the T, striking a great balance between ease of use and complexity, hands-on control, and a clever layout on the available front panel real estate. Programming new sounds is easy, and it encourages experimentation, and it's just plain good old fun. The mod matrix makes browsing a breeze, and newcomers to synthesizers will also benefit from it, that they can see how their favorite presets are set up, and you can just start taking notes from them when you start diving in. So it's basically like a little tutorial in the box. It's also great for live performance, as you get easy access to its most important parameters, as well as the benefit from the eccentric little keyboard and its polyphonic aftertouch. Number 3, a mutable instrument.
How's that for a magic trick?
Not all of us who are into synthesizers have modular gear or are ready to go down that rabbit hole quite yet, but lots of us still wish we had access to the sounds generated by products like Mutable Instruments Plats. Well, the MicroFreak will get you there. Not only that, as I mentioned before, this thing has 16 synth engine types to choose from, so your sonic palette is absolutely mind-boggling. However, variety is worthless if you aren't able to squeeze some sort of usable sound out of a synth. So I'm very happy to report that the sweet spot on the MicroFreak is bigger than your mama. And that's just as well, because it means that the time you spend tweaking it is mostly good times with little to no frustration in between. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, I would really appreciate it if you could take a second and click that like button. And if you're already feeling that generous Christmas spirit, maybe even click the subscribe button while you're down there, because it helps the channel grow and I really like hanging out with you here. Thanks. Number 4. This feature is a bit divisive, but I for one absolutely love the keybed on the MicroFreak. Sure, I'm not going to be playing Beethoven's Fifth on this thing, and that was never really the idea. And not that I can even play that on a real piano, but the idea is that you can get out of your comfort zone and into a new way of communicating with your synth. I for one appreciate these small tweaks that can have a huge impact on the way you compose or play your instrument. It's not the most precise keyboard, and it takes some getting used to, but I find it extremely sensitive and responsive, and as I said, it has just added to my experience. If you ever want to use normal keys, don't worry, you can always hook it up to a MIDI keyboard like the KeyStep, but I do think you'd be missing out. Number 5. A cure for writer's block. If you've been making music for a while, you might run into a sort of rut. At times, I feel like I've been writing the same song over and over, just in different versions of it. That being said, one of the things that I greatly appreciate in machines like the OP1 and the Deluge is that they have the ability of making me think and write music in a different way, by offering a different approach to creating my music. The Microfreak has a similar benefit in the way that it implements its sequencer. By using its spice and dice features, you can alter and morph something like a simple arpeggiation into a sequence you would have never thought of by yourself. Of course, this thing won't write out an entire song for you, and I wouldn't want that either, but sometimes just getting that initial starting point can be enough, and I, for one, will always appreciate a little help in that first step of the process. One last bonus point on why the Microfreak is so cool are the constant updates that Arturia has been releasing. Since its launch a couple of years ago, the Microfreak has undergone some serious upgrades via its free firmware updates. I, for one, would really like to express my appreciation as a consumer to companies like Arturia, Audible Synthstrom, and Akai, who don't just stop developing their synths once they hit the shelves, but continue to perfect them and make them even more appealing as time goes on. As it's a truly amazing feeling when a machine you already own gets new features. It's like getting a free new synth that you can fall in love all over again with. In my opinion, the only reason not to get the Microfreak is if you already own one. And even that's not a very good reason, since you can chain them into an 8-voice Super Freak. If you yourself are considering buying your own Microfreak and also want to help support this channel so I can keep making content like this, please consider using the affiliate links to the cool dudes over in Perfect Circuit down below. When you use that link, I get a small commission with no extra cost to you, and it helps me keep these synths on. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful, or at least entertaining. Have a great week. I'll see you in the next one.